say thank you for coming on.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And I want to ask a couple questions.
Sure. Sure.
And just tell us the real scoop. Okay, so first of all, tell us a little bit. What do you do?
Well, I'm an inventor, as you know, and right now I'm a full-time dad. So,
Okay.
my wife is working a normal 9 to 5 job, and I'm home with the boys and helping to promote Rennstand and also working on other projects. I have 2 other projects I'm working on at the moment, so that's been keeping me busy. So,
Well, good. It's always good to have someone paying the rent too, right? While you're
it
inventing.
is. It is. It is. It's and Rennstand isn't doing too bad either, so can't complain.
Well, I want to get that next. In fact, we're going to make sure we put that up on the screen.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about your invention because it's pretty remarkable and people are really loving it, aren't they?
They are, and thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. To explain it I want to explain it as though I'm explaining it to a layperson. So a mechanic would get it right away. But what's so special about Rennstand is it's a jack stand that lets you place your jack stand, in this case Rennstand, and your jack at the same point under your car. So if you were to work on your car, you have 4 points to which you could apply your lifting device, which would be your floor jack. So once you put your floor jack there and you lift, there isn't any place to put a jack stand. So I came up with Rennstand, which just basically lets you put my stand, as I said, at the exact same spot as the jack. So you never have to go hunt for a place to put your conventional jack stand, which is often very dangerous to do that. Not just for the car, but for you. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So this whole journey about licensing your product had a lot of twists and turns, as I recall.
Oh yeah, it did. I mean, we were working on it for a while, and it was 2 or 3 years at least. And
Yeah.
I think when I reached out to you guys, I had already filed, I think, I want to say my second patent application. Not the provisional; these were non-provisional. So I was invested big money into this
Okay.
project. And it took a long time, but it was worth it. And you guys really helped me find the right path to licensing, which I'm eternally grateful to you guys for that. So I got to give you guys props, absolutely. So
Well, thank you for saying that. I remember quite a few calls
yeah, to say the least.
at certain times of the day. It was.
Yeah.
I think what was really interesting was that you had one of the biggest companies on the planet wanting it,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
they weren't really moving very fast.
They were not, and it was an extremely frustrating thing for me, as I'm sure you remember. So they were courting me for I want to say about 1.5 to 2 years, and they wanted it very badly. But we were running into pitfall after pitfall, whether it was the contract side of things or the prototypes they were putting together. They weren't cutting it, and they weren't understanding how really the device was supposed to work, which was very surprising to me because their engineers are highly paid, So it was one of those things where I had to kind of hold them by the hand and say, look, this is why you don't want to change that, because you're defeating, the purpose of this invention. So
It was. I remember it was frustrating because they were large. They should have
yeah.
got it. I remember there's things in the licensing agreement that were a little low,
Yes.
given
Yeah.
who they are,
Yeah.
and so their commitment. And so you decided to reach out to other companies.
I did.
In fact, you were doing that kind of at the very beginning too. You were playing kind of we were playing kind of a dangerous game, if I remember.
I was juggling a few, and just to go back a little bit further, my intent initially was never to license. It was to go ahead and just produce and manufacture and market and sell it on my own. But given the fact that it's a high liability idea, and because no one seemed, it was the strangest thing, Stephen. I was approaching companies, U.S. companies, like basically saying, I'm going to give you money to make this for me. Just give me a quote. And they don't even return. They don't return calls. They don't return emails. I went to meetings. It was very frustrating. So that's why I started to entertain the licensing side of things. So,
Okay.
that big company we spoke of, they were always they were number one on my list at the time. So I remember I hopped a red-eye flight to Vegas to attend the SEMA convention, which is the biggest automotive venue on the planet. And
Right.
I got a hold of them, and that was the first time anyone was receptive to the idea. I'd been trying to reach them for months, I think, and nobody returned a call. So, but once they saw what I had, it changed the game. It changed the game. But yes, I was courting a few other companies, and I kind of felt like I had to, because they were taking so long with getting the contract ready and
Well,
prototype.
I remember it got a little dicey there too, a little bit.
It did. I mean, I remember calling you guys. It was you or David or both that were on the phone with me that day. I'm like, guys, they both want it. What am I supposed to do now? I have a contract from one. I have another one I'm waiting on. And to use that analogy, well, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Well, I was kind of thinking of them as, these are two girls I'm dating. you know, what am I gonna do? So, but everything worked out. Everything worked out, and actually, the company I'm with right now is just the greatest, and the relationship's wonderful, and I couldn't have done better, frankly. So, yeah.
Well, what's interesting? Two things. I think two good tips is sometimes you have to go to a trade show.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. The second tip is sometimes the biggest company isn't the right company for you, is it?
That's right. That's right. Absolutely
Okay.
right. Absolutely right. And
And you were able to really go out on a limb by dating two. I remember that, and you were always we were trying to strategize. How do we get out of one if we have to without making the other one mad? I mean, I remember those calls
yeah.
thinking,
Oh yeah.
Frank,
Oh yeah.
you're
Absolutely.
playing with fire here.
Absolutely. And I was. And thank God you guys were there, because this was new territory for me at the time. So yeah, I really didn't know how to navigate those waters, but thanks to you and David, everything worked out wonderfully. So
Well, you did a good job, Frank. I'm really proud of
uh,
your product was awesome.
thank you.
I remember seeing the first video thinking, gee, this is really nice. I mean, you did a good job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Stephen. I appreciate it, and it started to take off. I think it was the Street Outlaw TV show. The guys that host that show, they posted something about it on their Facebook page, and now we've ended up with 2.7 million views on that one video. So it's taken off. We've come a long way from those days when I had a little prototype in the corner and not knowing what to do with it. So it worked out really well. So yeah.
Frank, thank you very much for coming on. I know our viewers are going to love this story. You're such a nice guy too. It couldn't happen
Thank,
to a better guy. So,
thank you, Stephen. I
th-
appreciate that. And again,
yeah,
my sincerest thanks to you, David, and InventRight for helping me out. It was the right move, calling you guys and getting you
all right.
involved. So thank you.
No, pleasure's all mine. Thank you, Frank. Hi, this is Stephen Key, and I just want to thank you for watching InventRight TV. We're here to save you time, save you money, and show you how you can bring your products to market through licensing. So please subscribe down below, click on the button, and tell your friends. Thank you.